Hi and welcome to another tutorial on the Thoth Tarot, and today we're going to be looking at this rather abstract but lovely looking card, one of my favourites, and it's the Three of Discs. Its Rider-Waite counterpart, the Three of Pentacles, is rather different looking and has got more of a Christian theme, which quite a few of them do have. So you've got the one guy there making plans along with the two people who seem to be helping him. I guess the theme of the two cards here is similar, but got rather different ways of going about expressing it. So Mars in Capricorn and the Three of Discs, we're going to take a look at the symbolism of this card. This book here by Gert Ziegler, Tarot Mirror of the Soul, is okay for the Thoth deck, but some of his symbolisms are off. The meanings that he gives to the symbols of the Thoth deck is a little bit awry, shall we say, on certain cards, and also he doesn't look at the Kabbalah whatsoever. So, but his astrology is not bad. And that's a sort of picture you get with the cards in black and white. Just to give you an example, the symbolism he says for this card is he describes the pyramid in the centre as a crystal. With the heavens begin to open, the clouds of uncertainty may repeatedly blur your clear vision of the goal. So he's looking at these dark waves as clouds. Now this differs from Crowley, who says that this is actually the Sea of B.O.T.A, which is the third Sephiroth, and that is where ideas are met with the receptive element of the female principle, and it's described as a dark ocean. So these are in fact not clouds but an ocean, and this is one of the ways that, you know, authors do put their own spin on things. So I don't think these books are the necessarily the best to actually initially learn the tarot, especially if you want to stick to Crowley's original meanings. Okay, we'll take a look at what this card is about in depth, and then we'll go on to a reading with the cards, with other cards aspecting to it, and seeing how it the meaning is altered by its relationship to other cards in the spread. Okay, we'll go on to the deeper symbology of this card, and as I said, I really like the look of this. Very different to the Rider-Waite one. Going to where it appears on the decan diagram, we've got the second decan of Capricorn, which is ruled by Mars. So Capricorn is all the way out here, and here we have it. So we've got 20 to 30 degrees of the second decan of the three that rule Capricorn, and this one is of Mars there. So we'll look into the astrology in a little bit. Going back onto the card itself, we've got a pyramid which we are encouraged to look at from the top down. So the middle bit is the apex. At the three edges here, you've got the three wheels, which are in the red colour of Mars. Mars and Capricorn being the two astrological components of the card. From this, we look at the number 3 as being in B.O.T.A, and B.O.T.A is denoted as a sea, which you can see in the background here. All these dark wavy lines are in fact the Sea of B.O.T.A. Excuse me. Looking at the Tree of Life, B.O.T.A over here, we discussed it briefly in relation to Hogmar there. So Hogmar is force, B.O.T.A is form, and it connects, the magician connects Keta and B.O.T.A. So the magician is someone who brings things into the world, and so you have things being brought into form through through B.O.T.A here. Okay, going back onto the card itself. Mars in Capricorn. Mars, again, as we said in the previous card, supplies energy, assertion, vitality. With Capricorn, we've got ambition, practicality, and making things very tangible. So these two are really well suited to each other, and they really feed well to give a positive vibe to the card of works. Mars being exalted in Capricorn. Exalted means at its best, so Mars is constructive under the influence of Capricorn rather than destructive. So we've got Capricorn's materialism benefiting from the energy and activity of Mars, making this a good card for things like investment in projects and focusing in things at work. But as we'll see, as we do with a lot of the cards in Crowley's deck, he tries not to just relate it to the physical. Looking at the pyramid here, we do have various different signs within the three wheels. We have at the top Mercury, which is right in the middle of that, and on the hub of that wheel, which represents air, or the Hindu sattvas, SATTVAS. It's all in the notes I provide on my website. On the right bottom, we've got the symbol of sulfur, which is a triangle above a cross. These relate to the Hindu system of rajas. And we've got salt here, which is a circle with a line through it, and that is related to tamas. So this is a multi-layered approach to symbology there, because we've also got Mercury representing air, sulfur, fire, and salt, water. Even on top of that, we've got gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold being purity, frankincense being representing the masculine aspect, and myrrh the feminine. Don't have a chance to go into that in this topic, but I will shortly be doing an article on gold, frankincense, and myrrh and its relation to biblical stories on my website. So how does this apply to work? Well, if we take an example of an artist painting a picture, then the sattva would be the initial thought or the seed of the idea. Tama is that which is intended to be, such as the painting, and rajas are supposed to be the spiritual energy which allows the artist to do his picture. So all three are necessary for the completion of the product. This does have a multi-layered effect when you look at the macrocosm. It's Father, Son, Holy Ghost. So whatever we do materially, we can transpose it to a more philosophical or spiritual perspective. Again, that's very Kabbalah-like, as above, so is below. Okay, so that shows the three wheels, and the symbol of the pyramid coming out of the sea of B.O.T.A here. We've got in the book Mystical Kabbalah by Dion Fortune, she uses the name Ama, or Ama, A-M-A, which is a dark sterile mother, which would be this, and you've got Ama, which is A-I-M-A, which is bright fertile mother, and that refers to the fact that just having a dark womb will not produce anything of anything tangible unless it's actually combines with the masculine element. So once the two combine, you actually get a product, which is this triangle here. So that talks a little bit about the symbology of it and a bit about the astrology. Crowley also says that the base of the pyramid is formed of three wheels representing Aleph, Shin, and Mem, which are the three mother letters of the Hebrew alphabet. So again, that number 3 is very important. The number 3 is very much to do with creation, which I think I implied with the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. So for those that meditate and know those as fact, well, this will be straightforward. What else can we say? We go to the Rider-Waite version of the card, very different. You've got 3 people within a cathedral, one doing work, the others having plans. So it denotes the making of a project and the producing of something tangible. So if we go on to the divinatory meanings of the card, going back to our Rider-Waite thing here. So in a spread, it can be to do with reward for your hard work and dedication. Your skills can move you on from where you are now. Good outcomes for business projects, careers and practical matters. Going to these 3, you've got to really follow what's in your heart, mind and body, because they're all important to produce the end result, which is this pyramid here. There is an esoteric significance to the pyramid. Again, that'll be in my notes. And it's basically that your life is in balance and you're reaping rewards for what you do practically. If it's in a less favourable reading, then you're looking at troubles within the work environment, your heart not being within your work, but not identified with your right career path, or lack of self-confidence even in your career. Just one thing to note, I do tend to bring up as much as I can. Crowley does talk about this suit of discs specifically and not pentacles, because it's an energy, an earthly energy. So if there are a lot of major trumps around this, it could be talking about a more spiritual work. It doesn't have to be to do with something which is very mundane. It could be to do with the great work, and that is to do with progressing your consciousness to God. And most of my website actually discusses that. So this card can be taken on many different levels, but generally it is to do with practical matters. But I certainly wouldn't limit it to that. So okay, we'll look at that now in the course of a reading with a few example cards. Okay, so for the last part of the video, we'll just look at the 3 of discs aspecting to other cards. So this really relates to the need to follow a career path, if the reading specifically about career, and looks at and emphasizes the need to do things which really fulfill us rather than just for the sake of it. So the 3 wheels in balance, our body, mind and heart need to be in what we're doing. So that's what this is trying to bring forward. If we pair it with the card of futility, we're looking at our fears and inhibitions getting in the way of us really moving and advancing our career. So we'd need to look at what these doubts and fears are, and so that would be taking the client back to negative self-tapes that are going on, and making them aware of those to be able to unpick them and unfold them so they could move forward and really get to where they want to be in their work. Compare it with the love card, which again is emphasizing doing something that you love, and you'll never produce something to your potential if you don't love what you're doing. So again, those 2 cards relate like so. The Dominion card would be using your confidence to move forward. Dominion is all, as we've discussed, is about Mars and Aries, and that is really just moving forward and not really caring about the results or the consequences of your actions so much. But again, there's got to be ethics in what you do. But again, that is saying, or reminding them to push forward without really overthinking it. Or it can relate to some, if it's the client is having trouble in the workplace, and maybe someone is overly dominant and therefore they are not being able to express themselves fully. So it would depend on the spread. As I say, we're only using 2 cards at the moment, so at this point we can put loads of variations in. But when we come to do spreads using more cards, then obviously it'll hone down on the specifics more. Okay, last card we look at is Truth, which, as we've discussed in previous videos, is really saying taking stock of your current situation and feeling confident before moving on and producing your best. It could also relate to having compromises at work which may not be ideal, but they are necessary at this time for you to be able to eventually move forward and really reach your potential in the workplace. Again, in its more negative aspect, it can be that your heart's really not in your work, and really that will show in the results. So that may be one of the reasons why you're not fulfilled in the workplace, is because maybe your heart really just isn't in it. Or maybe you just haven't really identified your right career path at the moment, or that you lack self-confidence to advance your career. In its more positive aspect, it's all to do with producing something of value, and that can only be done through having your body, mind and soul working in harmony together to produce that. So it's encouraging us to look at the work situation holistically. If we want to, we can look at this card in a spiritual aspect. It doesn't have to be to do with mundane work matters. It can be relating to spiritual work, producing of spiritual projects, and the like. I was involved in a meditation group for many years, and again that can relate to this sort of thing. Can relate to producing leaflets, promotional things, teaching, spiritual topics, all of those sorts of things. I worked on many projects over the course of time, so again I would encourage people to look at this also in a spiritual way, and not just the mundane everyday life environment. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, then drop a comment in the link below, and I will hopefully catch you for another card. Bye.